Shouldn't we have changed for this? I ask grumpily, descending down the stairs after Penelope. She glances up at me, her grin gleaming in the dim light. Vita, please. How could you even think of doing forbidden blasphemies in anything but a black dress? I roll my eyes, declining to comment. Penelope had apparently bought an entire building for us to hole up our magical stuff in, one with a nice, expansive basement to boot. It's well outside the rich district, thankfully, though to my irritation it's on the complete opposite side of the city to the shack in our branch of the Hunters Guild. We get down to the lower levels, all dreary and cold stone. Penelope immediately sets about casting spells all over the place, though exactly what they are I can only guess. There. Done, she eventually announces, dusting off her hands against each other. At least, done to the degree I can do. We'll have them shored up in a moment, though, because... Walking off into another room for a moment, she returns with some kind of wheeled table on which Theodora's body rests, intricate tattoos covering almost every part of her skin. I do mean almost every part, too, and given my knowledge of that I'm forced to wonder. Why is she naked? Penelope asks, raising an eyebrow. Oh. She's a corpse, Vita. We had to drain the blood, stitch up that neck wound, apply the spells to keep her from rotting, so on and so forth. Much easier without pointless fabric in the way. Does biomancy work on dead bodies? I ask. Well, not really, no. Most biomancers, myself obviously included, know a few precision-focused kineticism spells, however. Sometimes you just need to grab something in a body and move it around a little. Setting bones, removing arrowheads, etc. And biomancy can be used to delay decomposition, since that's a biological process, mostly. She paces around the wheel table, still grinning as she lectures me. Bodies like this one are often prepared for biomancy training. Teaching the little aspiring casters kidneys from the liver, as it were. So there are a few more I bought after Lord Erebus pushed the Mages Guild into getting me a teaching license. Anyone who finds a few corpses in our basement isn't going to suspect a thing. What if the corpses walk around? I ask blandly. Well, they'll probably figure it out, at that point, Penelope responds, her voice equally flat. Right. Well, since Theodora is about to walk around, do you think she might want a robe or something? Penelope opens her mouth, closes it, and then opens it again. Well, yes, I suppose I hadn't thought of that. I'll go see what I can find. I pull Theodora's soul out while she's off finding some cloth for our soon-to-be ally. A glittering, vibrant blue contrasts with lightning-shaped arcs of red dancing around it. It's a striking soul that is among the largest and the most beautiful in my collection. I can't deny I have a strong temptation to just eat it, but I'm equally curious about controlling it. I wait for a moment, half expecting something to seize control of my mouth and berate me for that thought. It never comes, of course. What would Penta say, though? What would Rowan say? That it's wrong? She's a person, so I shouldn't do it? She's not a person I know, though. She's not my friend or my family. Perhaps more importantly, I need her. If she's as talented as Penelope seems to think, she'll probably be invaluable in figuring out my powers and how to refine them. Ironically, by forcing her to be dedicated to me, we have the best chance to figure out how to undo that dedication. Penelope is no metamancer and certainly no animancer. It might mess Theodora up for now, but the good it could do later. Removing a shard from my soul, I push it into the orb that holds Theodora. With my senses far better than when I last did this, I can see my shard wedging itself inside, shifting and extruding root-like structures in and around the soul. Slowly but surely, my shard melts away until it is nothing but those twisting tendrils, fusing with the spirit and leaving it subtly changed. The process makes the striking soul even more beautiful, to my delight. Penelope returns shortly after with a blanket and a smock, laying the former over top the body and setting the latter nearby. Okay, got that taken care of, she announces. Now, I want to watch you do your soul trick. I already made the Revenant soul, if that's what you mean, I answer, raising my eyebrow as she scowls a little at me. You can watch the next one. I'm going to put this in her body now, okay? Fine, fine. Make the magic happen, Vita. I shrug, pushing the new and improved soul into Theodora's corpse. The body twitches briefly as the soul spreads within it until suddenly my revenant's eyes shoot open, Theodora sucking in a very unnecessary breath. Instantly her hand goes to her throat, eyes looking around wildly as she slowly sits up. What happened? She breathes. Where? Her eyes lock onto me and go wide. I wave at her. Hi. Vita? I thought you. No. You're? Are you quite all right, Theodora? Penelope asks, approaching with a calm smile. How do you feel? Numb, Theodora answers, rapidly glancing at and away from me. Did you save me? In a manner of speaking, Penelope answers smoothly. What do you remember? Well, there were the slimes. And I was trapped. And then she points a shaky hand at me. You killed me. And now I love you? No, why would I? I'm not thinking right. This is animancy, isn't it? Horror and joy war on Theodora's pale, bloodless face. Penelope glances my way. It's the only way we had to save your life, I say. Sorry it's not perfect. Oh, of course, Theodora sighs, visibly relaxing at my words. That makes sense, you. No. Wait. She almost immediately tenses up again, mana flowing into her soul as her fingers start to move in fast spell patterns. It's not sensible at all. She shouts furiously. I'll not. Calm down, I order, and she sags like a puppet with strings cut. I recognize a cancel command, channeled mana exiting her as the anger instantly leaves her. A tingle goes down my spine, smile twitching at my lips. Sorry, Vita, Theodora whispers. I'm not sure what came over me there. I mean, I know what. I can tell you're. She groans in frustration, clutching at her own head. How about you get dressed for now, and we'll explain stuff. I hedge. Immediately, she moves to put the smock on as instructed. I hadn't expected her to be this lucid. Greg never cared that he was being mind-controlled. It's definitely weirder this way. Is she going to be all right? Penelope whispers at me, moving slightly behind me to put my body between her and the revenant. How should I know? I whisper back. This is like the third time I've done this. I can hear you, Theodora says. I'm not deaf. Somehow. I'm dead, aren't I? My body's not right. I can't believe you two did this. Are you behind the Nora as well? No. I answer. No, Theodora, this is just. I'm a natural necromancer, is all. I'm trying to save you. I just don't understand how it all works. She finishes dressing, standing up from the table. Her bare feet show no obvious discomfort from standing on the cold stone floor, and her piercing eyes stare unblinkingly in my direction. A dubious claim. Show me. I glance over at Penelope. I'll go get another corpse, I suppose, she says, heading out of the room and leaving me with my unwilling servant. Well, this is certainly not how I expected things to go, I comment. Yes, Theodora says slowly. Sorry. Perhaps I am overreacting. Or, maybe what you did to me is making me think I'm overreacting. Maybe both, I comment, shrugging. We're not going to hurt you or anything. No, of course not, Theodora murmurs, entirely to herself. You'd never do that. The dead woman grabs her chin between her thumb and forefinger, eyebrows twitching as she tries to navigate her new, slightly foreign mental state. I watch curiously as her soul repeatedly sparks with anger, only to be choked by the twisting remnants of the shard I placed within her. It's simultaneously exciting and disturbing. Here we are. Penelope announces, bringing out two more corpses, an older man and, to my grim lack of surprise, a young girl that looks like she starved to death. I walk towards it immediately, pulling out vitamin soul. Because, really, would anything else fit for the poor memory stealer? Watch, Theodora, I say, and her eyes gravitate to me immediately. I'm not casting, it's just a talent. Plunking the soul in the corpse, I wait for my monstrous slime daughter to rise in her new body. Almost immediately, her eyes shoot open. Mum. She squeals, happily leaping off the table and wrapping me up in a hug. I'm not a rat anymore. Yes. Holy shit, it's like hugging one of Lynn's little ones. Except colder. Hi, Vitamin, I murmur, kneeling down to hug her back. Sorry about the wait. Supposedly we have a safe place here, finally. About that. Could you double-check my work on the masking enchantments, Theodora? Penelope asks. I'm fairly certain I got them right, but I'm sure you could do better. Safe? Safe how? How far can I go? Vitamin presses. Just within these few rooms, for now, Penelope answers. And. Sorry, if I can back us up here for a few moments. Did that revenant just call you Mom? Of course I did. Vitamin answers, grinning in Penelope's direction. She raised me. Get it? I snort, then start to laugh as Penelope and Theodora each send concerned looks my way. Grabbing the little one under the armpits, I raise her up to my shoulders. I already made that joke, I tell her. What? No. That's totally the kind of thing you just think and then keep to yourself because you're awkward. So hey, am I really stuck down here? Wow, ouch. Kids can be mean. For now, yeah, I answer regretfully. Unless you'd rather be in stasis. You're using the masking formula so external detection doesn't see hints of necromancy, Theodora murmurs, looking around. They should be fine. Can you improve them in any way? I ask Theodora. I'm counting on you to keep everything here safe. She halts a bit. Right. Of course. Yes. Well, there are a few weaknesses, actually. Let me just. She gets to work casting on the walls, and I scowl. She's going to be trouble, huh? The Revenant seems to have no issue following direct orders when I give them, but. Don't worry, Mom, Vitamin murmurs, picking up on my concern immediately. I'll keep an eye on her for you. I squeeze her leg in thanks, and she returns it with a hug to the forehead. Nothing like a slime with all my memories to back me up. I have the weirdest family. Theodora, Penelope says smoothly. I understand being less than enthused at the prospect of being an undead revenant, but we are merely hoping to get your assistance with magical research. This is already a passion of yours, is it not? I fled Skyhope so I wouldn't be forced to do anyone else's magical research, Theodora snaps. If this is the nobility's way to press me into their work, it certainly shows me I was right to leave. I should have fled all the way to Maridin. Though I guess I. She starts mumbling to herself, glancing my way as she struggles to fight the influence of my shard. This situation. I don't like it. I mean, I do like it, instinctively, but it's still bad. Firstly because it's dangerous to our plans, but also, I feel no better than the slimes I just killed. Theodora, I say, butting in. Like I said before, I'm a natural necromancer. I have no way to revive you without doing what I've done to your mind. I don't know how my power works. I know this isn't fair to you, but you and I together have the best chance of figuring it out. If you help me learn more animancy, I can undo what I've done to you. Ideally, I want to learn to make you a living body again. Will you please help? If you prefer death, I can grant that to you instead. You'll free me from this? She presses. Yes, I confirm. One way or another. After a long pause, she answers. Then I'll join you, Theodora says. I felt the remnant of my shard pulse within her before her answer, but I smile anyway. That's good enough for me, at least for now. We need her. Okay. Great. I'm really sorry that I got you killed. The slime in Remus technically did it, but, well, I screwed up and gave him the chance. But hey, on the upside, at least you're immune to Nora now? She snorts, breaking out into a slight chuckle. Yes, that's. Well, I wouldn't say I like the idea of being a soul slave, but it's better, I'll give you that. How are the others? Safe, alive, and slime-free, I answer. Although, Lytia is occupied by Templars, now. Well, it's to be expected, even if it's hardly ideal. Thank you for saving the others. I nod. The slimes, however, are dead. But well, I'm still a necromancer, so how would you feel about, working with the one that controlled you? In separate bodies, of course. 2 experienced metamancers are better than 1, right? Theodora is quiet for a moment, her dead form not so much as twitching as she stares me down. Vitamin starts playing with my hair. Have you already messed with the slime's soul? She asks. To make her loyal? Not yet, I say. But I'll have to do that, It's part of the process that lets my power make you a revenant at all. I'll happily let you get a good look at it. Your talent is something about analysis, right? It is, yes. I still seem capable of using it as well, even after death. I nod. We should test sometime if you can use it in a different body, I think. For now, though? There's a pause as the woman considers it, her thoughts unknown to me as she contemplates the question behind that stony gaze. Go for it, she eventually murmurs. I nod, pulling out the slime soul and a shard of my own and mixing the two together. Theodora's eyebrows scrunch together, watching with enraptured attention. When the soul is ready, I plunk it into the old man corpse. It's an almost comical mirror to Theodora as the slime of the same name wakes up, hand on her neck, sharp intake of breath. What happened? The new revenant asks, voice raspy and odd as she sits up slowly. Where? The human Theodora immediately punches her in the face. You fucking parasitic monster. Theodora screeches, following up her first punch with an immediate second. The blows are amateurish, but more than enough to knock the slime revenant flat. 153 hours, 13 minutes and 43 seconds, I know. The slime revenant snaps back, her old man's body seemingly no more frail than Theodora's young one. They are, after all, both equally dead. You never shut up about it. I don't know how you got free, but... Theodora breaks through the slime's guard and socks her in the jaw, shutting the former parasite up. The slime tackles her in response, knocking over the table and slamming both of them into the floor. Why can't I swim back into you? Penelope coughs politely, glancing at me. Shouldn't you stop them? I watch the fight for a bit, the savage blows between the two undead breaking bloodless skin. Nah, I say, shaking my head slowly. Theodora kinda earned this. They can sort out their differences. Penelope follows my gaze, nodding back. True enough. It does seem like a cathartic way to greet one's torturer. You're not gonna beat me up, are you, Mom? Vitamin asks impishly. No, silly. I tell her, reaching up to tickle her sides. I already killed you. We're totally even. My dead daughter giggles, though I doubt it's because the corpse she inhabits is actually ticklish. Penelope gives us an odd stare as the vicious brawl continues across the floor next to us. Vita, did you adopt the slime that tried to take over your body? Yep. I answer happily. Well, posthumously. But she's a little kid with all my memories, and she calls me Mom, and... you know. It fits, right? She's mine. And you're mine. Vitamin declares, grinning down at me. Goodness, this is only going to end well, Penelope deadpans. What is with you and doting on inhuman horrors? I shrug. My soul has tentacles, Penelope. I'm pretty sure I'm an inhuman horror. I just kinda empathize with that, you know? You're as human as anyone I've ever met, Vita, Penelope insists. I've done very thorough scans. Your body is perfectly normal, you just have a rare talent. Yeah, but my soul is weird. And when you think about it, my soul is more me than my body is, I cut myself off, attention suddenly snapping to the fight. Human Theodora just smacked slime Theodora hard enough to shatter a few of the old man bones in her body. That by itself doesn't seem like it's worth caring too much about, but as the impact hit I felt slime Theodora's soul crack as well, prompting a hoarse scream of pain. Stop, I order, my voice freezing both revenants immediately. Human Theodora stands above her former captor, one foot poised to crash into the slime revenant's ribs again. They both stare at me with the kind of fearful, guilty expression Lynn's little ones make when they're caught hoarding food. Taking Vitamin off my shoulders I walk over, shooing human Theodora out of the way. I kneel down next to the former slime so I can poke at her soul with my tendrils. It's not shattered or broken or anything, just cracked. How do you feel? I ask. It hurts. The revenant whimpers. Vita, what's happening? Why can't I leave this body? Why doesn't it have memories? So she's still lucid, even when damaged. The crack doesn't look very deep, but the question is why did the soul crack at all? A physical blow shouldn't have affected an intangible thing like a soul, right? You're not a slime anymore, I tell her. You're undead. Now shush, I'm investigating. I carefully pull the soul out of the corpse, the many blood vessel-like growths that are spread across the body detaching bit by bit, staying connected to the soul's core as I remove it. They remind me of my tendrils a little, but much thinner and more interconnected, more like a lattice of vines, really. These structures seem to exert force on the inside of the body, allowing the revenants to move without ever using their muscles. I hold out the soul towards human Theodora. "Can you see or touch what I'm holding?" I ask. She reaches out, her own hand passing right through the soul. "I see nothing," she answers promptly. I nod. So soul contact isn't some property of revenants. I put the soul back inside the body, the slime Theodora waking up with a terrified gasp soon afterwards. What could it be? How is the soul being touched? I absently scratch an itch with one of my tendrils, and funnily enough that's how I figure it out. I grab and hold that tentacle, then yank. "Ow!" I yelp. Everyone gives me a weird look, but I don't care. I get it now. Since the soul is exerting force on the body to move it, the body can still exert force on the soul as well. The vine lattice of soul stuff that grows inside a revenant's body can be damaged or torn if the parts of the body it's attached to are damaged or torn. So with enough force, your souls might shatter if you get hurt too bad, I announce. I won't be able to bring you back from that, so no more fighting. Human Theodora raises a shaky finger in Slime Theodora's direction. This thing controlled your body and thereby mentally tortured you for days. I know, I answer, cutting her off. Which is why I let you beat the shit out of her. Well, congrats, you cracked her soul. That's going to hurt like a bitch and I don't know how to fix it. So we're done now, okay? You don't have to like each other, but no more fighting. She scowls, but nods. Turning her head, she tries to spit on Slime Theodora, though to her obvious irritation she doesn't have saliva. Right. Well, with that out of the way, I'd like to brief everyone as to what we're actually doing here, Penelope announces, stepping in. We're not only blaspheming for the fun of it. This is our immortality research facility. While pure biomancy-based immortality should be possible, the cooperation of metamancers such as yourselves, and potentially animancers, once we start to reverse engineer Vita's abilities, should speed up the process dramatically. My personal goals include the ability to make living, artificial bodies to put souls in as well, I add. It's the best way I can think of to help the Nora. I have their souls inside me, by the way. Nice and safe. Penelope nods, while Slime Theodora's eyes go wide. One will help lead to the other, I think, Penelope agrees. It should be invigorating research, not to mention research I hope will uplift our people and our country to ever greater prosperity. I have faith that our collection of magical genius here, and me, Vitamin adds, should be up to the task. Wait. Hold on, Slime Theodora stammers. I feel like I'm missing a lot of context. I'm dead? Vita is a necromancer? And are you even a Nora? I am not, Penelope answers with a smile. And never was, from the moment you met me. Vita is the same. Her eyes go even wider. But Vita, you still want to help us? The devotion radiating from her eyes as she stares at me is delicious. At least Slime Theodora is easy. No, wait. I should be disturbed at how easy. She's conveniently forgetting I killed her and her whole family in the first place. My shard within her pulses, filtering and feeding feelings to the woman who has all the memories of her much more willful counterpart, but none of the experience that gives her the self-control to question. Although, since I have them both here, I do. First order of business, though, Theodora. Both Theodoras tilt their head at me, awaiting command. I point at the former slime in the old man's body. You need a new name. Sorry. Human Theodora had it first, and it'll be confusing otherwise. You wanna be Theodore? We kinda put you in a man. No, she answers, shuddering. I'm a woman, thank you. Wrinkly, coldic or otherwise. Penelope snorts with amusement as I wince. How graphic. Still, I kinda figured she'd feel that way, for some reason. Okay. How about Theodora? I've always been partial to the name Margareta, actually, she answers, thumb and forefinger on her chin. I've always been partial to that name. Theodora snaps. Yes, imagine that, Margareta replies, smirking a little. I chuckle, shaking my head.
Ah, Nora. Right.
Well,
Theodora and Margareta, it's good to officially meet you.
What do you two think our first step should be?
They glance at each other, and after only a brief pause they answer at the same time. Metal. Metal, huh?
I guess it makes sense.
It's some kind of mana gatherer and amplifier, and we're here to do lots of big magic.
That's
going to be difficult, Penelope murmurs. I've set all this up to be inconspicuous so far, but if I even try to buy metal, we're instantly going to be under scrutiny. Which normally wouldn't be a problem, but we have 3 revenants and an animancer in the basement, I finish.
Yeah,
that's not ideal. What do we need it for?
Ironically, to hide the 3 revenants and the animancer in the basement, Theodora answers.
We'll have to continually reapply the masking enchantments since they're not metallically anchored, and any mistakes during that process could temporarily disable them, Margareta continues.
Which wouldn't be an instant death sentence, but
the frequency at which we'll be doing this means that eventually, someone will notice, Theodora finishes, glaring at her counterpart.
I nod, frowning.
That does seem pretty important. Can't Grandma help? Vitamin asks, staring up at me with her head tilted. Straight black hair frames her hollow cheeks in a way that I've seen way too many times before. The poor girl she's wearing was almost a skeleton before she died. Still, I can't help but grin when she calls Lynn Grandma. I've no doubt she's doing it on purpose.
Well, I don't know a better way to get illegal metal than Lynn the metal thief, I agree.
We'll have to see if she can safely slip us some.
I wish Melek were here, Theodora grumbles.
Wait, you didn't tell the Templars about his talent, did you?
We didn't.
No, I confirm. Is that how you got all the metal for your tattoos?
He found it?
She nods. Interesting. Well, he's 7 days and change away, so we'll call him a solid plan B. I guess I'm heading back home, then, after I change into my armor. Penelope nods, fishing some kind of round token out from between her breasts and handing it to me. Head back to the bathhouse and give them this, they'll return both our old outfits to you. Would you be a dear and drop mine off at the Hunters Guild?
I accept the token, shrugging.
I need to go back there to change and store this weird dress anyway. Are they even going to let me back into Rich Bitch Land?
I ask.
They will let you into the central city with that token, yes. Say you're a servant for House Erebus if questioned, but looking as beautiful as you do they're unlikely to find fault with you.
I feel a bit of flushing in my cheeks. Why does that matter?
Penelope shrugs.
Because that's the way the world works.
We talked about this. Now go on and quit staring at me like that.
It's just a compliment.
It's certainly not the kind of compliment I was expecting, though. People have traditionally had zero cause to appreciate my appearance, being a half-starved gremlin and all. I've occasionally been called cute after getting a bit more meat on my bones, but never beautiful. Vitamin sniggers at me, hand over her mouth to cover her incorrigible grin.
Love you, Mum.
Tell Grandma and Grandpa I said hi. Damn it. I've spent ages trying to get people to not treat me as a kid, but now I feel like I'm being treated as way too old. I shuffle out in a hurry, Penelope immediately starting a massively nerdy conversation with the Metamancer twins behind me. I quickly make my way to Rich Bitch Land, avoiding eye contact with as many people as possible. Walking around in this dress is making me way more self-conscious when I'm alone than when I had Penelope next to me to steal all the attention. I give the token to the bathhouse staff as instructed, carrying our armor out in tendril-supported arms. Man, everything is easier when I can bolster my body like this. Looking busy and walking fast seems like enough of a reason for people to avoid bothering me, and eventually I'm back at the guild, heading upstairs to my shared room.
Vita. Hey.
Where have you?
Whoa-ho. What are you wearing, girl?
Hey,
Nora,
I respond, walking in to drop the armor on my bed for sorting. Sorry to dump the mission report on you and the boys. Oh, you better be sorry if you went to the baths without me. I'm hurt, Vita.
Truly, I am.
The dark-skinned woman's grin indicates she may not actually be that hurt, as she walks over to me in her usual white undershorts and tank top. Yeah,
I murmur.
Sorry. I'll make it up to you. Somehow.
Later.
It wasn't really all fun and games, though. How are the luxurious bathhouses not all fun and games? she asks, grabbing some of Penelope's armor and helping me put it away.
Penelope basically bought me, I think. I'm apparently a slave, and I had to go meet her fiancé. A bunch of shit with the Templars happened on our not really that secret mission to Lydia, and...
yeah.
Nora tilts her head, scowling. Wow.
That's...
a slave?
Really?
Can't you just tell her to fuck off?
Without the protection of a noble house mucking up their ability to press an investigation, I'll get framed for some big crime.
A bunch of politics happened, I dunno.
But I think we're at least kinda friends now. She stuck her neck out to save me and stuff. Literally walked in front of a sword, so
I can't really complain too much.
Finished with Penelope's stuff, I start to peel my dress off, followed quickly by the fucking bra.
The padding on my armor is just fine, damn it. I start redressing for combat.
The slums may not be as dangerous as outside the walls, but I'm not going to be the idiot that thinks that means they're safe, although in truth, I have very little to fear from most people there.
Still,
Vita.
That's pretty wild.
You'll have to tell me the long version of that story sometime. I bet you're happy to get out of the dress, at least.
Extremely, I agree.
Not being in armor just makes me nervous. If a person has the option to wear it, why wouldn't they? Nora just chuckles, shaking her head. Not for any reason I suspect you care about, but most people have different priorities from you. You're the odd duck out, Vita.
Still,
I find it hard to believe the Templars would try to frame you for something.
They're super honorable.
I shrug. As much of an arsehole Gladler was, the truth is that I probably did cause that perception event. While I think it's absurd to kill me over that, I'm just going to stay away from the damn edge. It's not that hard, I can see the Templars' logic, at least.
That tentacle. I shake my head, strapping on the last of my armor and securing my knives and spear. I've started carrying 2 knives lately, to have a backup for my backup. I have a new spear as well, to replace the one that Slimus tossed off the island trying to kill Penelope. A long shaft of shaped and sharpened chitin, the weapon is sturdy and apparently quite expensive. A substantial improvement from my last one. Finally, I dig into my bed and retrieve Roscoe, giving him a massive squeeze before securing him once again. Ah, still safe and sound.
Velp, see ya,
Nora,
I say, nodding to my teammate.
Leaving already?
A slave's life is busy, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. I exit the Hunters Guild again, setting out to go visit my family for the second time today. Geez, I'm so tired. I still haven't gotten a proper rest from our last mission, but today is a damn long one, and even after the tail end of our excursion this morning there's still another 9 hours before Needlestone passes over for a brief nighttime. Still, I have a stock of small monster souls from our fights in the forest. They're little more than cheap snacks to me now, but they're still damn tasty and they help keep me awake. I suppose, since I'm going home, I may as well buy them food again. A collection of meals later, I make my way through the back alleys of the city, avoiding the pleading gazes of dozens of beggars. They aren't dying, they don't need me. When I make it home, however, I'm annoyed to find I don't feel Lynn or Rowan's souls at the shack. The kids rush out to meet me, and I ask one of them, Normal? No, right, his name is Norman. Where the dynamic duo is Lynn and Rowan are out with the Drockens again, Norman answers, picking his nose. They're not around a lot anymore. I scowl. No one has come by to bother you guys while they're away, have they? Norman shrugs. Sometimes. People will beat us up or steal food or whatever. We just pretend we ate it. My tentacles snap outward, anger flaring. Some bastards are trying to take advantage of my family. I'll kill them later, I promise. Norman steps back. Okay, he says. Thanks again for the food, Vita. No problem, I answer through clenched teeth, turning around to head out. I'll return in a bit, maybe tonight when at least Rowan is all but sure to be around. I also make a note to remember every soul around my home. When I'm not so exhausted, I'll find the assholes that are apparently beating up kids. I don't have to put up with shit like that anymore, so I'm not going to. Soon enough, however, I notice 2 familiar souls heading my way as I return to the guild. Squigs and Friggs. I change my route and they follow. Well, fine, if they're going to be annoying, I may as well find out what they want to extort from me today. Changing my course again,
I walk right towards them.
Vita.
Friggs calls when we see each other, the short, fat man raising his arms welcomingly.
Just the young woman we were hoping to see. We heard you were back in town, and I'm here to tell you, the boss wants a word.
The boss?
Do they mean boss of the Drokans?
Or perhaps just a boss?
Ah, well. I'm down either way. I have some choice words. And I need some illegally sourced metal anyway.
Sure, I answer.
Lead the way.
Squiggs and Friggs look at each other.
Well, Squiggs comments, that was easy.